All right, welcome back. A number of these stories I've told you, not exciting but informative, and this is something officers do that most people don't know about, obviously. I'm telling you right now. We had a tow yard in the division. It was a city authorized tow. So when you get your car towed, they don't just call Auto Club, they call a regular certified tow that's been approved by the county and the city to take your car. They're trusted, they're bonded. They're trusted basically not to screw you over and charge you exorbitant rates. They have a set rate. They charge the people. That way, people don't get screwed. But you get screwed enough as it is getting your car towed, but you don't want to get double whammed. So these yards had to be secure. In other words, they had to have barbed wire and fencing because a lot of people will show up drunk and they want their car back. They'll demand the car. They'll try to assault the employee. So they have it looks like a compound, of a big, huge lot with cameras everywhere. And then to get to the front, they have like a bank. They have a bulletproof glass and an intercom system because people come in there and they want to take their car. The cars are, to them, it's the whole thing in their life. So since it is like that, and since it works for the police department, a lot of guys will go there and get inside. Officers can freely go in there, obviously. Sometimes guys will take 6-packs and go inside the tow yard where nobody will bother them. They can be safe from outside gunfire and gang members and stuff. You go to a local park or something, and they can go in there basically safely, drink beer after work. This is one of those stories where I heard a lot of what happened. I talked to a couple of guys about it afterwards because it was kind of funny, though not for them. So I got a first-hand knowledge of it. I didn't experience it myself, so this is one of those few stories that I didn't experience myself. But I'll tell you anyway. 3 or 4 guys at midnight, they go over to the tow yard and they're going to have drinks. And they've already been drinking anyway, so they bring a bunch of beer with them and they're inside the lot. It's a huge lot. I mean, you have to talk about probably 3 square blocks of tow yards. They got big trucks over here. They have what they call super tows, which is these trucks that tow semis over here. I mean, it's all kinds of stuff going on here, though. You have to have your cars in there over here for someone to get their car released. They have all kinds of stuff. So these guys are drinking, and one of them had bought a new gun. And guns and booze in the civilian population don't mix, and bad enough in a police organization, it should not be an issue, but it is. Again, we're human beings. Guys make mistakes. So one guy says, "Oh, it's a nice gun. How's it shoot? I haven't really shot it yet." Well, let's and of course, remember now they're drunk. So no one's going to hear us here. Okay, you're in the city. Okay, how many no one's going to hear you? Okay, so anyway, so they set up a bunch of cans, and they're going to shoot the pistol. So they're shooting target practice. Boom, boom, boom. Remember, this is in the city. This isn't like in the country. Okay, the tow yard may be 3-4 blocks square, but it's surrounded by houses. So sure enough, they're cranking off rounds, and they call the police. Okay. Of course, the officers that respond don't know that these are officers in there. They just heard shots fired. They get there, and the guy in the front doesn't know they're doing that. He's just up in front in his office because he's just there as a watch at night because they're closed anyway, just to watch for fire and whatever. So police cars pull up with red lights and siren. They open the gate. So he hits the gate, and the gate opens up, and they go rushing in there. They thought maybe somebody had jumped the fence and were cranking rounds off. Of course, they get in there, and here these 4 coppers get proned out. They don't know who they are. They're not in uniform. They're in plain clothes. So you got cops proning out cops. And they're yelling, I'm the police. And I talked to a couple of the officers that responded, and they're looking like, I know that guy. Oh my gosh. Of course, there's sergeants there. Everybody's there because shots fired, So they're not handcuffed, but they're searched. They're put against the car because they're police officers and they're going to identify themselves. And so, what are you guys doing? Well, we're just shooting. We just fired a couple of bullets. Okay, fine. So then the owner of the tow yard shows up. Somebody called him because the cops were here, of course. And he's beside himself. Now, he's not beside himself because they were shooting rounds off in his tow yard. Because these are cops and they see him every day and we have interaction with these guys all the time. What he's upset about is the cans that the car they put the cans on to practice their firing at was a towed vehicle that the FBI wanted towed because they had an FBI shootout, and this was held for evidence because they were going to come out like Monday and go over the car for bullets because they had a shootout with criminals. So now you have an extra dozen bullets in there from the police officers who were drunk. Okay, that's why he was upset because the car was off to its side over here on purpose with all kinds of labels on it. Don't touch or whatever. They care. They're drunk. It's nighttime. So that was their biggest issue. So these guys they were documented. They're all sent home. And it's not necessarily a crime, although now it is, shooting a gun to see them. Then it was more of an administrative thing. And of course, the chief of police will get that in the morning when he comes to work. He's got 4 officers out there shooting rounds off at an FBI Holt vehicle. Okay, that didn't go over well because the FBI were notified the next morning. They were out there. And so everybody's PO'd at these guys. And so I don't know who the chief was at the time or the guy in charge, but they all got like 4 or 5 days off without pay. They all got transferred. It was a mess. Okay, and the FBI was pissed off at the police department because they ruined our evidence. It was a whole thing here. Nowadays, they probably would have got arrested probably and charged because you can't be doing that sort of thing. But in those days, and back in the 70s, it was more of a, we'll just take care of it internally. And they did. They gave these guys 4 days without pay. It's pretty significant, but pretty whole mess here. But, you know, you deal with human beings. Guys get drunk, got a gun. Not good. You got to remember, we take psychological exams to make sure we don't do that sort of thing. And sometimes we do sort of things like that. There'll be other stories about guys doing stuff like that, believe me, in the future. I got more of those, a lot of them. So I hope you enjoyed this one. The ones I will tell you later, I personally was involved in. This one I heard from the officers involved. So anyway, hope you liked it, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.